So here's a quick entertaining one about a guy who gets to have the last laugh when his high school crush, who he met a couple decades after getting out of high school, tried to baby trap him, but surprise, surprise, he's been snipped for years. And you're going to see how they stayed in touch, they were so-called friends, he always liked her and all that, and then when she reached the point that she wanted to have a kid because she was never married and had kids, she wanted to hook up, and they hooked up lots of times, and she was doing it just purely, not because she's interested in him, but just wanted to have his kid, wanted to get pregnant, and one obviously wanted him to pay for it, and the joke's on her. And this goes to show you guys where you always wear protection, you got to be careful with the crazy ones, hot, crazy, scale, all that. Title: Am I the a-hole for not impregnating my high school crush? And a big shout out to Ash for sending me this story. He says, I, a 37-year-old male, am a single father to a beautiful girl, 9-year-old female. She is my pride and joy in life is great with her. But she is the only one I will ever have, as I've been snipped for a few years now. I don't really tell people about it, it's my own business. Not that I don't want any more kids, I just don't want any more baby mamas. My daughter's mother and I have an amicable relationship, but it's taken a lot of work and emotional anguish to get here. Oh, I'm sure it has. I can't say that the next one will be as amicable, so I made the decision to get myself taken care of. Maggie, a 37-year-old female, has been my crush of mine for the past 20 years. She's unmarried, no kids, and works as a gymnastics instructor, which keeps her fit. You've had a crush on this chick for 20 years? Dude. And this gal in the story here, which I mentioned in the beginning, no surprise, she's 37, never been married, no kids, gymnastic instructor. Probably was a cheerleader in high school and a hot girl, and no guy was good enough for her, and obviously, as the hot, crazy scale mental. He says that she's just as beautiful as the girl I fawned over in high school. Smack! I can't believe you're that guy. I moved away while she stayed in our hometown, but we've kept in touch and grown to be really good friends. Yeah, sure, dude. You don't want to be friends with her. You just want to nail her. You're the nice guy that's pretending to be a friend. She adores my daughter and comments frequently on how much my daughter has grown in the years with love reactions, emojis, etc. Nothing out of the norm. I just took it as her being nice. A couple years back, I admitted my crush to her as I feel we're mature enough to not be embarrassed and to make fun of it. She took it well, but we never pursued anything from it. That is until this last Christmas. Of course, first of all, smack for going to this whole thing like, oh, I always had the biggest crush on you, or something like that. Guess what? She knows by you talking to her. But also, of course, nothing came from it because she wasn't interested in you. And since this was a couple years ago, obviously she was younger than 37 years old at that point. My daughter and I flew home to spend the holidays with my family. My parents were ecstatic to see their granddaughter, and my brother's kids were happy to see their cousin. Maggie saw that I was in town through social media and messaged me. We made a date for lunch when my parents were available to watch my daughter. We met at a coffee shop, and she threw her arms around me and put her head on my chest. Well, how interesting. High school me would have felt a little tight in the pants, but I just hugged her back. Coffee turned out to be dinner, and that turned into drinks. In the middle of drinks, the conversation turned intimate. Oh, so now she's drunk. She finally blurted out, OP, put a baby in me, in between giggles, and I laughed along. Okay, what'd I say in the beginning about this gal? I took it as an invite back to her place where we eventually ended up. So, all these years they've been talking on social media. He comes to town, she wants to get together with him, and after some drinks and all that, she's saying, put a baby in me. In other words, I want to hook up with you. The thing is, she's being literal, and he's taking it as flirting. I later on introduced Maggie to my daughter, and they hit off really well. I definitely felt this could sprout into a full-on relationship. My daughter isn't used to me dating as most of my time revolves around work and being a full-time dad. She supported me pursuing Maggie and explained she can hang out with my parents and her cousins while I did my thing. We split the week between my hotel and her place. I flew back thinking we were going to be a thing for good. Last week she called me and telling me she's not pregnant. We didn't always use protection. Smack! Jackass. Now I know he's been snipped, but regardless, you could catch something, dude. I asked if it was a good thing to get pregnant at the beginning of the relationship, and she broke down to confess that her biological clock was ticking and just wanted to get pregnant. Translation, I'm not interested in you or relationship with you, but I do want to have a kid because, da-da-da-da. You tell me she couldn't go to a sperm bank or something like that, but then she'd have to pay for it. So she's just sleeping with a nice guy that's really into her, who then could obviously, help pay for things. She chose me because of how beautiful my daughter is, but wasn't going to make me raise our child if I didn't want to. She has no intentions for her relationship. Am I the a-hole for not telling her about my procedure and can't give her a baby? This chick is nuts. Okay? She's known you liked her all these years, and obviously you probably liked every post she made on Facebook and commented on everything like that. And then when you mentioned that you had a crush on her, she's like, oh, that's nice. But then a couple years later, when her biological clock's going off, she chose you to impregnate her. Rushed it in just like that. And she knew what would happen. Except the joke's on her, because guess what? You were obviously hooking up with her lots of times, knowing darn well she couldn't get pregnant. So she was just thinking that. And pretty much probably wants to just keep hooking up with you until she can get pregnant. Nope. So dude, here's the deal. You're not the a-hole for not telling her that, because hey, she's the a-hole for trying to use you, because that's what she was doing. And guarantee if she got pregnant, guess what? You'd be paying for that kid, and she tried to sever your rights. How interesting. So at this point then, you are the a-hole if you continue seeing her, because she's batshit crazy. Completely. So bro, run for the hills. And in the future, stop being that nice guy that woos these girls and fawns all over and all that. It's ridiculous. Now real quick, some comments here, because they're funny. One guy says here, not the a-hole and run. That's grade A crazy. She essentially used you and it backfired completely. They have doctors and sperm banks for that kind of thing, not your old random friend on social media. And that your daughter you think is pretty, that's crazy as hell and creepy. Another one says here, not the a-hole. You didn't know what her true intentions were, but you should definitely run for the hills now. Someone who is going to be so deceitful about such a huge thing in the beginning of a relationship indicates that she will do it again. Instead of trying to have a genuine relationship with you, she chose the creepy and deceitful route. It's a good thing you didn't get her pregnant. Imagine having to deal with her as a baby mama. Right, exactly. But this guy was so smitten with her. She was the crush from high school. He wanted to get her. There's a reason she got to be 37 years old and never married, no kids and all that. Because I guarantee it, one, she's hot crazy scale. But two, she probably thought she was so high and mighty, nobody was good enough for her. I've known some gals that have done this. Two more. One guy says, not the a-hole and cut all contact. You are the a-hole for introducing her to your daughter the minute you slept with her. Next time someone says that put a baby in me, ask them what that actually means. Clearly she was dead serious and just wanted to use you as a sperm donor. Yeah, she was being literal, but he thought she was flirting. And last one, not the a-hole bullet dodged here. She was totally using you. Don't go on thinking about anything you have with her was real. She's effing nuts. Yeah, she's effing nuts. So, lesson be learned, guys, but the hot crazy scale and the baby trapping, all that, you got to be careful. Always wear protection, but you know what? At least he got to bang his high school crush a few times, and he got that notch in his belt. And the joke's on her because, but anyhow, watch out. A lot of crazy ones.